Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria and I am back with another video. Y'all, in today's video I want to revisit my blurring balm powder routine, and that's using the blurring balm powder from Danessa Myrick's. I'm not sure if I've ever done that on this channel, y'all. I cannot remember some of the videos that I've put up because sometimes I record videos and I never post them. So I don't know if I've ever done this before, but I know I do have a blurring balm powder routine. With that said, my last video when I did review the Patrick Ta palette, and it just made me think, like, I wonder if anybody wants to know how to use the blurring balm powder, because if you are as excited about the eyeshadow palette from Danessa Myrick's, you probably were, or maybe even now, still excited about blurring balm powder. I know I am. It is one of my favorite makeup products since I started wearing makeup. And like I say in every video, I started wearing makeup during the pandemic, so I'm still kind of new to this. So before we get into the blurring balm powder routine, I want to just start from the beginning in how I prep my face. So right now, this is a face that is washed, cleaned with a cleanser, and nothing else is on it. No moisturizers, no toners, nothing. This is just a clean, dry face. And what I like to do, I'm going to be using my fresh hydrating products today. So I'm going to be going in with the Fresh Deep Hydration Toner, and then I follow up with the Fresh Rose Hydration Serum. And I'm going to be using, since I can't find my Danessa Myrick's Beauty Oil, I'm going to be using my MAC Essential Oil Prep and Prime Oil. And then we will also be using the Fresh Age Delay Eye Concentrate. So we'll be using this as well. And when using the blurring balm powder, skin prep is very, very important. And just so you know, I do have dry skin. I have mature skin. I'm 51 years old, and I have raised moles. I have some pores in this area. And yeah, so I have to prep my skin accordingly. So let's go. So I finished with my skin prep. Everything looks good. We went in with a toner, a serum, eye cream, and a beauty oil. Not too much skincare under your makeup. For me, it makes me sweat. It makes my face feel heavy, and it's just really overall uncomfortable. So I try to go in with light skincare, but effective skincare under my makeup. So let's get into the Danessa Myrick's Blurring Balm Powder. I have two of the Danessa Myrick's Blurring Balm Powder shades. I have the shade, this is the shade 7. And then I have the shade 9. So I initially purchased the shade 7. Honestly, I thought shade 7 was going to be my shade because, and when I say my shade, because these come in, I think now she's up to like 12 shades. It goes from translucent up to shade 12. So maybe that's 13 shades. Because this is a texture reducing, coverage boosting, blurring balm that balances oils and sweat throughout the day. You can use the translucent or you can use a complexion. Shade 7 was too light for me, so I will only use it as a primer. But then I went back and I picked up shade 9, and 9 is really close to my complexion. So honestly, I could wear this as a primer or I can wear this as a foundation. I fell in love with this product so much that I really wanted all 13 shades because I felt like I could use these for everything. And you really can, because not only is it a primer, foundation, it is also, as I said, bronzer, contour. It can be used as setting powder. So it's just such an amazing, innovative, and unique product. I'm telling you. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just get started. So what I like to do, I'm going to be using this as my primer today. So as you can see, we didn't go in with any other primers. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with shade 9. I will go in with my fingers with this. I will go in with my fingers just because it feels like a balm, like a light, almost like a light Vaseline texture, but not so much that you would say this is oily. So it goes on like a balm, and then it dries down to a powder texture. And it gives like a natural matte finish. So, but today I'm not going to use my fingers because, like I said, it's not smooth. Like you have to pull it to where you want it to go. So that's why sometimes it's just easy for me to use my fingers. But today I'm going to go ahead and use my brush. This is the Real Technique. This is the Real Techniques 200 brush. So we're just going to use that today just to go in here to wear this as your foundation. But me personally, so you see the way this looks on my skin, I could definitely wear this as my foundation. I'm just going to do one side so you can see. So you can see the difference. I could definitely wear this as a foundation. I'm going to show you why I just prefer to wear it as a primer. I think that's where it really, really shines, is as a primer, because it definitely creates a really smooth and blurred canvas to apply your makeup. When you use this with your favorite foundation, you're going to see some big changes. What makes this product so unique is that it's the ingredients. So it does have upsilite in it, and upsilite is this Swedish super ingredient that it balances the oils and sweat. So it's constantly pulling that unnecessary oil and moisture out of your face to keep your makeup in place and to keep your skin oil free, to keep it shine free, and just to keep everything in place. It also has squalane, and squalane is to me, squalane is a super ingredient, but that is what's giving you that blurring effect. Anytime I see squalane in makeup or skincare ingredients, I get excited because I know it's really going to blur my complexion. It's going to blur my face. I feel like it's like a little facelifting ingredient, because the first time I used it, I was really wild. So it has squalane in it, and it also has hyaluronic acid just to give you that continuous moisture throughout the day. So you don't have to worry about your face drying out, because it is pulling the oil, but it's going to leave your face completely hydrated. So upsilite, squalane, and hyaluronic acid is what powers this product. Clean my brush off. I have this little towel here. I'm going to clean my brush off, and then we're going to go in with shade 7. Shade 7, and you can see it is very light. But I use this in the center of my face. I pretty much use this wherever I'm going to be applying concealer. So, like I said, I use this wherever I'm going to be applying concealer, because it gives a little bit of brightness in those areas, and again, it's reducing my texture, it's blurring my complexion, and that's what I want. In with my Lancome Tint Idol concealer, like I always do. using the shade 495, but I'm really going to be going in with the shade 460. 460 is just that shade that gives me the right amount of highlight that I like. What I like to do is use a brush to blend out the concealer. The 400 brush, I'm not sure, it came in a kit, but I love this for blending out concealer. So I'm going to use my mirror, my makeup mirror here. Since we have the concealer blended out, we're going to go in now. Like I said, we're using this as our primer. So I'm going to go in with my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, the shade Marquises. And this has proven to be like the best combination, y'all. This NARS foundation with this blurring balm powder, the mix is so pretty. It leaves the most flawless finish, and it just wowed me the first time I tried this. I was like, this looks really good. So I have not tried the blurring balm powder with my other foundations. I typically just use it with this NARS because I know what I'm going to get. But I'm sure whatever foundation that you use, your favorite foundation, I'm sure that it will work as well. So instead of using my brush, I'm going to use a sponge to just blend this out. Mainly because it's just quicker. But of course we know blending kind of makes the makeup look really good. I mean, using a brush does too, but and this is the Real Techniques sponge. Sometimes when I do this, I like to just go back in with my concealer and just do just a little quick reinforcing of the highlight. What we want to do now is go in with the powder. So this is really, really key because the blurring balm powder is naturally matte. You don't want to use any, to me, you don't want to use any mattifying or ultra mattifying powders. And unfortunately, pretty much all the powders that I have are matte powders. But I do have this Sephora the Sephora Collection translucent powder. This powder actually has a natural finish instead of a matte finish, so that makes it a perfect pairing with the blurring balm powder, because, and I'm just sure to buff out any creasing that I have on my eyelids and under my eye before I start applying the powder. But with this powder, the translucent powder from Sephora, it works really well with this routine because it doesn't mattify the face. Because I have used mattifying powders in the past, and y'all, it really, my skin was just so dry in the middle of the day. After a couple of hours of wearing this, my face was so matte and so dry. I I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And then I realized after trial and error that if you're going to use the blurring balm powder, you don't need a lot of powder. You actually don't need powder. If you want to just use a setting spray, that'd be cool. But I like to just go in with the powder. But if you use a natural finish powder, you should be fine. So, okay, we got all the lines out. So I'm just going to go in with that same brush and just start setting the concealer. All right, so we have definitely set the concealer. Everything looks smooth and really, really nice. So let's move on to the next step. Next step in my routine with the blurring balm powder is I like to go in with a little bit of contour. So we're going to contour using the Danessa Myrick's Color Fix. This is the shade 10. And it's kind of a cool toned brown, I guess you could say, which is why I like to use it as a contour as well as other things. So I'm taking this brush, I don't know, this is a brush from Amazon, and I have it on her palette. Excuse the palette, don't look at that. And I just kind of blend it out and just start applying it to my face as such. Go up into the hairline just a little bit, and we come down into the cheek area. Now these Color Fix, I love them, but they dry down so fast that you hardly don't have a chance to do any proper blending. But I'm trying to go as fast as I can because it will dry down. And once it dries down, that's where it will stay. And then you don't want that. We'll tell you that if it does dry down and it does, stay in a place where you don't want it, you can go in with the blurring balm powder and kind of blend it out a little bit. So that's another thing I like about Danessa Myrick's products, is that her products work really well together. All right, so I think like that part doesn't take any time because like I said, it dries down so fast. So that is just my little light contour. Left and try to contour my nose just with what's left on here. So you definitely can see that. So that is the contouring part using the Color Fix Nude Shade 10. And now, going back to the powder, I still like to go in with one more powder. I just can't help it. This is not something that you have to do, but this is just what I like to do. I think right now my face looks really, really nice. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting powder. This is the shade Cunifer. And this is a mattifying setting powder. But I like this powder because of the color. I just want to... So I like this powder because of the color. It's a deep, rich yellow. I know the lights is making it look more... Yeah, so it's a deep, rich golden yellow. And I like that. And I like to use that to just... I'm not baking. Well, it may be called baking. Hell, I don't know. But we're just going to use just a little bit of that to highlight in certain areas. And I'm using just this little tiny brush so I can kind of control the application. I have a fan on right here, so the fan is blowing the powder. Now I'm going to go in with my Kosas powder, which is another powder. This one has a very natural finish. It's not matte. It's just a natural finish that doesn't dry out your skin. I'm just going to take that Real Technique brush and just dust off the Huda powder. All right, so one last thing I like to do before I go into setting everything, and then we're going to apply the mascara. I like to go in with a little bit of bronzer, and this is the MAC bronzer that they just came out with, their skin finish bronzer. This is in the shade Radiant Rich Rosy. And I'm just going to take this Sephora brush and just go back over that contour just a little bit. I forgot, we do have to put some blush on today. I'm going to put just a little bit of blush on. So that's the bronzer. So this is our look so far. So let me figure out which type of blush I want to put on. For my blush today, I could use the Danessa Myrick's Color Fix, but those are really, really bold, and I want something just a little bit subtle. So I'm going to go in with my Dior Backstage blush. This is in the shade Pink. This is the original version. I know they came out with a new one, but I like this one just because it's just enough. It's just enough color to make you feel good. Nothing too overwhelming or powerful. A lot of people complain that the blush takes too much build up to get a good color payoff, but I like the way it is. This is my go-to blush when I don't want people to know I'm wearing blush. Okay. I just want something soft and subtle, especially if I feel like I'm going to go bold with the lip, which is, I think, what I'm going to do today. So let's just set the face, and then we'll come back and do the lips. So I went ahead and I did spray my face with my Charlotte Tilbury. I thought I was still filming, but I was not. So we're going to go ahead and go in now with our mascara. I'm going to use this. This is a Lancome eyelash primer. It just straightens out the lashes. I don't reach for this often because I forget about it, but when I use it, I'm always impressed about how this stretches my lashes out. And then I'm going to go in with this Pat McGrath mascara. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a sample that I have. I've had it for a minute, and I kind of want to use it. So I'm going to use both of these together today. And with this eyelash primer, it is white. And per the instructions, you go in with this and you immediately go in with your mascara. You're not supposed to let it set or dry. Just go in, and that is what I'm doing. Try to do this on my bottom lashes. I haven't tried this in the past, but we're going to see what it does today. Ooh. Ooh. That definitely woke those bottom lashes up. And that's kind of making my eyes water just a little bit, and I hope it doesn't run. Ooh. I don't know if you guys can see, but the eyes look really, really good. So for lips today, I think I want a red lip. I know that, and I'm trying not to go and use my MAC. I'm going to go in with the Danessa Myrick Color Fix. I'm going to be using the shade Valentine and the shade Bloom. I'm going to use these two together because I do want a bold lip. And we're just going to see what we come up with. I have worn the Color Fix as a lipstick in the past. I have, but I don't think I've used this Valentine, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. Again, because these are very drying, they dry so quickly, you just don't have time. You just don't have time to play around with them. So that is Valentine, and then we're going to go in with Bloom, which is this kind of pinky looking color. And this is a Sephora lip brush. I don't know what number it is. And I just put this on my lips and just kind of blot. What do you guys think? Now, I think that looks really good. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and just wrap this up. So this is the finished look using my Danessa Myrick's Blurring Balm Powder routine. I think it looks flawless. Y'all, that's my new word. That's a new word in my vocabulary. Before I started wearing makeup, I don't think I ever used the word flawless as much as I do. But I really do feel like this look is, that's just the best word to describe it. It is flawless. My complexion, my skin is smooth, it's even, it's blurred. My texture is really not there. When I look, of course I still see my moles and everything, but when I look in the mirror, I do see a smooth surface, and I really, really enjoy that. Also, my skin is not dry. It feels very light. I mean, I really feel like I don't have anything on. So, all right. So we're going to come back out just a little bit. So basically, just to wrap up, let's talk about who the Blur and Balm powder is for. The Blur and Balm powder is for anyone who suffers from texture issues with their skin. You don't want to wear makeup because you feel like my skin is too bumpy, my skin is too, just so much texture is on it. It's hard to create a smooth surface for me to wear makeup. Then you definitely want to try out the Blur and Balm powder, because it's definitely going to reduce some of that texture, and it's going to blur your skin and give you a perfect surface for applying your favorite foundation. That's why I promote using the Blur and Balm powder as a primer. A lot of people like to use it as their foundation, and you definitely can do that. But to me, I find when I use it as a foundation, I use a lot of it. And because this doesn't like go over your face like a regular foundation, like a liquid or like a powder or a cream foundation. I think a lot of people may look at it as a cream foundation of the because of the texture. So even today, just using it with a brush, you can see I hit pan right there. But usually I use this with my fingers, and I don't use that much. But a lot of people may think, oh, it's a cream, I can just smooth this over my face as a foundation. No, it is like a balm. It has that texture, and you have to pull it. You have to stretch it to cover your face, and doing that, you will use a lot of it. So that's why some people may go through it faster. But if you're using it as a primer, you don't have to use that much. Just a little bit of dew. If you've seen Danessa on her IG page, she uses this every time she does her makeup look. She uses balm powder, and she uses it as a primer because she goes on top of it with one of her foundations. This is for everybody. It's for anybody who's dealing with any type of skin issues as far as texture. You want to even out your complexion. Maybe you have some hyperpigmentation. Maybe you have some dark spots that you kind of just find you use a lot of foundation to try to cover it, and you just don't want to use a lot of foundation. Then definitely try the Blur and Balm powder in one of the complexion shades. You don't have to use a lot, just a little bit as a primer, and then go on top of it with your favorite foundation. It could be a light foundation, and I think you're gonna see a difference in how it evens out your skin tone. Let's see, who else is this for? This is for the oily girls. If you struggle with, keeping your makeup on your face because you get oily, it starts to sweat off. I think if you have oily skin and you don't have the Blur and Balm powder in your collection, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You definitely should have this because it's going to keep. I'm not an oily skin person, but I do sweat. That's my problem. I sweat. But I find when I wear this, even if I get a little bit of perspiration and I just fan myself, it quickly dries back down. It just quickly dries back down, and my face will look like this all day. I mean, even into the night. It's about, let's see, it's 12:07 right now in the afternoon. And I will probably have this on till about 9 o'clock tonight. And 9 o'clock tonight is going to look like this because it's just that good. So, but just, having a good routine on how you use it. Start off with good skincare. Don't put a lot. You don't need a primer. This is your primer. You don't need a lot of skincare. Just, something that will get the skin hydrated and moisturized. The Blur and Balm powder is going to do the rest. I'm telling you. So y'all, I am so pleased with my look today. If I didn't explain anything, or if I left something out and you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I do read my comments, and I do try to respond to everybody when I get a chance. So if you have any questions about this process, just let me know down below. Everything else I'm just going to list. I may even list the steps. I use, even her Color Fix. That's another one of those unique products. I could have used the Color Fix today as my eyeshadow and as my lipstick, but I just decided to use the Color Fix as my contour today, and it looks so good. It looks really good. So like I said, since everybody is all excited about her eyeshadow palette, if you didn't get a chance to get the eyeshadow palette yet, don't forget about these other products that are just as unique and innovative and useful as that palette. And you can see I used my Patrick Top on my eyes today, which I really like. I really do like that palette, y'all. All right then. Oh, and of course my lips. My lips today, again, courtesy of Danessa Myrick's. Her Color Fix in the shade Nude and Bloom. But I will say, if you don't like matte lips, you will have to cover this with a lip gloss. I don't have any lip gloss, but I will tell you right now, it has dried down and my lips are dry. But I know the color is going to stay in place all day, so it's no big deal. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I can't continue to ramble on and on. So again, have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments and I'll respond to you. Okay, guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.